For this video, I'm going to talk about private DNS zones. In the last video, I showed you public DNS zones of why you would want to create that. So the reason why for doing private, let's say you have a virtual network and you have different subnets in it, and you have applications running in them, you want to only map private domains to them within the virtual network itself. So if you want to use private DNS zones, you'd use Azure Private DNS, which is a managed service, and a private zone can be linked to one or more virtual networks by the use of virtual network links. It also has something called auto registration, which allows VMs to be automatically registered in the private DNS zone. So anyway, let's get started. So I have this virtual machine, a demo VM, and here's its private IP address. And this is what we're going to use for our DNS registrar. We're going to map this for our DNS zone. So anyway, let's create a private DNS zone. Private DNS zone. And what's cool is we don't actually need to buy a domain to put in because it's a private zone. So it's all within our virtual network itself. It's only when you want like a publicly routable DNS that you would need a domain. So you won't be able to access this domain from the internet till it's only in like a private zone. So just call it, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? And then create it. And since I told you I was continuing off of the other video, I already have this and it has IIS installed on it, so let me just show you. So let's wait for this to be created. Alright, so we're here in the private DNS zone, and let's say you want to create a record set, an A record, and we'd say they're trying to go to here. So you want to put like www. If someone, in your private network whatever wants to go to www. whatever, then is what you do, and it'll be pointing to not the public IP address, but the private IP address of your VM. So let me just copy this. Nope. That's what you would put. And there, you just manually created that record set. But let's create a virtual network link. So actually I'm gonna right click it, say delete, and delete. And let's create a virtual network link. Add. And you choose a virtual network that your VM's on. Give it a name. So I'm just saying, go ahead and link this private zone to this virtual network. So I'll just call it demo link. And you can enable auto registration, and enables automatic creation of DNS records in this private DNS zone for the virtual machines connected to the virtual network. So click OK. And auto registration just means like any of the VMs that are in this virtual network that we specified will automatically record themselves into this private DNS zone. So it's completed. So you go to overview, and you see here it automatically created this record set for this demo VM, and it's pointing to its IP address, private IP. So you could have done it manually, like I said here, record set, or you just create the virtual network link and it'll automatically do it if you enable auto registration. So now that we did that, I'm gonna just continue on with like a use case. So I just create this new virtual machine called staging VM, and it's in a new VNet. And so over here, I'm gonna add a new virtual network link called staging link whatever, and I'm going to choose that virtual network, but I'm not going to enable auto registration. So even though it's not auto registered, because I set up these virtual network links for both of them, VMs that are in this VNet are able to communicate with VMs that are in this VNet, here, through this domain name. And so you're able to connect to domain names through this bot, and because we set the virtual network links. And let me show why. So I connected to staging VM and local server. I'm going to turn off ID enhanced security configuration. And you would open up Internet Explorer and put in the private IP address of demo VM1 to see if it's able to. But you have to do some things first. So first, since there are different virtual networks, I had to create the virtual network peering connection. So here, and go to staging VNet, go to peerings, add, we'll call it staging here, and allow. Another one we'll call demo here. And since we're going from the staging VNet, we want to connect to the demo VNet. Keep everything allow. And now let's add it. So we're creating our peering connection between the two VNets. So while we wait for this to finish, get the demo VM's private IP, because we're going to need to paste that into the Internet Explorer address bar to connect to it. Alright, it's connected. So now let's remote into staging VM, and let's put in demo VM's private IP, and you see, look, we're connected to it. And I think I have an HTML file did. Yeah, so demo VM, look, we're connected to it. So because we also added this virtual network link to that staging VNet, we're able to probe it through its through its domain name. And by that I mean, like, here's the demo link or whatever. You would do demo VM dot this, and then you put that in. So let me copy that. And instead of doing 10.4, we'll just keep that default, whatever. You just put in demo VM dot that, and look, it works again. And if you take out the default, because they're connected through this virtual network links. And if you were to, remote into the demo VM, then you could just put in staging, or you put staging VM, whatever it's called, staging VM, dot this DNS, and then it would, whatever it has IIS pop up or whatever, but I didn't do that because it doesn't have IIS on it. But I'm just showing you it goes both ways because you created both of them. So the whole point of this private DNS zone is you don't need to, connect probe, using its private IP address, which I showed first. You could do it by its private DNS name here. And I didn't have to even buy a, custom domain. This is all through Azure. So anyway, this is how to create a private DNS zones.